You know, we've had a pretty good week this week. Players seem to be working hard and responding to the things that we need to do to try to improve as a team. The thing we've been trying to emphasize to them is, you know, anything you do, the way you do anything is like the way you do everything. Because it's part of who you are in terms of you got a chance to accomplish something special. This is probably the game that will define us more than any other game we played this year. And you know, if you're going to accomplish something in that, everybody in my whole life has been looking for an easier way to do something. You know, I used to have to go out when I was a kid and not only get up and turn the channel on the TV, but we only got 3 channels, and I had to go out in the backyard in the dark, scared to death, and turn the antenna for my dad so we could change channels to get the next channel. Now, you don't even get out of the chair. And we got 500 channels, not 3 channels. So all my life, somebody's been looking for an easier way to do everything. But to do this, there's no easy way to do it. It takes a lot of hard work. It's very challenging. And everybody has got to challenge themselves to be their best to be able to do it. So, you know, but this will be the game to me that defines us more than any game we played this year in terms of the challenges that we have. It's a great opportunity for our team. They got a very good team, and be a very difficult place for us to play, and it'll take a lot of poise on our part to be able to compete the way we need to compete every play in the game to do the things we need to do to have success. Julio did practice today. I didn't seem to have a lot of issues. You know, we'll, like always, you always got to see, you know, how he responds to that in terms of, you know, what happens next. And if he gets better tomorrow, I think he'll be fine. Chris Jordan did some practicing today, probably a little bit more limited, and we'll just have to evaluate him, you know, day to day. So Robert has done a really good job for us this year. He's a young player. He got to play some last year as a backup, but I think has sort of, you know, taken the responsibility of being a starter, and really has taken a lot of pride in his performance and trying to do things correctly. Robert's a really quiet guy, so for him to communicate has been something that we've really tried to emphasize with him, because we have to play with that togetherness and communication to eliminate mistakes in the secondary. And I think Mark Barron has set a very good example for him, and Robert has responded. He's got good ball skills. You know, he played corner in high school, and those kind of guys usually make pretty good safeties. He's got good size, and he's gotten better every game this year, and certainly has become a consistent performer for us, and we're pleased with his progress. Well, I think that when you're the leader, I think everybody expects you to sort of set the example of how you're going to respond to every situation that comes up in the game. And I think one of the great parts of his personality is, you know, he's a very bright guy. He doesn't overanalyze things. He always can play the next play. I think this year he's learned how to do that even better than a year ago in terms of shaking off a bad play or whatever. But he's actually so poised and so good. You know, he got hurt really in the second quarter and nobody knew it. He got hit in the head when he scrambled once and got hit over on the sidelines, and you know, it really affected him, you know, in the game, I think. And we didn't know it until the fourth quarter when he called the play wrong and the formation wrong, and then tried to run the play that we signaled. So I said, something's not right here. But anyway, and he said he was fine. He said, I've been shaken up before and been able to play through it. So, you know, you're talking about a special guy who has a special personality, very smart, like having a coach on the field, and really affects all the other guys in a very positive way because he does have a lot of poise. And I think all the other players have a lot of confidence in him. Well, because I think it's the biggest game we played to this point against a very good team, you know, in a tough circumstance on the road. We didn't play very well on the road at Arkansas to start the game, and I think if we have shown maturity as a team, it's going to be important that we can start fast and finish strong and play through 60 minutes of whatever happens and be able to overcome whatever adversity occurs, you know, in this game. And that's just the way I feel. Well, I think, you know, the guy has got great size, and has been very productive, and they use him very well in his, in their offense. And I don't think it's just going to be Drake or Patrick. It'll be, whoever's playing against them will have to do a really good job against them. And I think the big thing is how do you play the vertical passes? I think the guy's going to catch some passes in the game, but when they try to throw him the ball down the field for big plays, which he's very good at, they're very good at, especially in the red zone, and they must have tried 5 at least on us last year in the red zone. We have to be able to play the ball, make those plays. And I think eliminate the big play with him is probably the most critical thing that our corners need to do, in this game. I think we have several guys that have shown leadership on defense, and I think it's, Mark has done a really good job in the secondary. Dante does a good job with the linebackers. I think we have some other guys. Marcel has tried to do a good job. Luther Davis has tried to do a good job. I think all those guys really care about how the team does, and I have been trying to be supportive of other players so that they can develop and do the things they need to do to play winning football. But I can't say that one specific guy has become sort of the alpha dog personality of the group. Rowe was a special guy that way, and even though we had other guys on our team that had leadership capabilities, I do think that they all responded to him. And I think everybody on our team responds to Dante, but I think there's other players who provide leadership as well.
That type of mindset and the confidence is there.
Well, I think the first thing, the team's got to be convinced of is it's about what they do. It's not about what we do. That none of those things have any effect on the game unless they affect you. And I think everybody here has probably heard the analogy that I used when I was at Michigan State and we would go to Notre Dame, and there were all these reasons why you could never beat Notre Dame. If they wore green jerseys, you couldn't beat them, and if the Gipper talked to them Friday night before the game, you had no chance to win. And I said, guys, you're going to hear all this stuff, but it means nothing unless it means something to you. All right, so when we go play on the road in this league, none of that stuff that you're talking about means anything unless you let it affect you and it means something to you. If you can stay focused on your job and believe and trust in the fact that what you do will affect the outcome of the game, it will be about what you do. And it won't be about any of that stuff when it's all over. When we come back here and watch the film, on Monday, we'll sit here and say we made these mistakes, and that was when we did it correctly, good things happened, and we didn't. Bad things happen, and if you don't do it correctly and enough bad things happen, you don't give yourself an opportunity to be successful. So I think that's the way we've always approached it. The field's going to be, I think, 53 yards wide and 100 yards deep, I think. I don't think they're going to change that. So it'll be the same size field for everyone, and you got to be able to play and overcome those kind of circumstances if you're going to have a chance to win in this league. You got to do it on the road. Well, I think that every coach needs to make the decision about what they're comfortable with, and Steve's had a tremendous amount of success, probably as much success in this league as anybody that coaches in this league, and probably pretty close to anybody that's ever coached in the league. And he's a quarterback coach. He probably knows how to handle his guys extremely well. They all seem to play pretty well, and do a really good job for him. So it's what works for him, and that's his decision and that's his choice. I'm kind of a continuity guy, so to keep continuity with the team and the leadership and all that, if you have a guy that's playing well, you just like to see him continue to play well. But I think all the other players, when you do change guys, they get used to that too, so it doesn't affect them, and I'm sure it doesn't affect their team. They play extremely well regardless of who's been in there. But we have a lot of respect for Garcia and what he's done, and he's a very good quarterback in our opinion. Well, those guys are obviously very good players, and they're great competitors, and I certainly wouldn't take any of the credit for the yards after contact that they get, but I think from a program standpoint, you're trying to develop a mental toughness and an attitude on your team that they are going to be relentless competitors. They are going to come after you every play, and with a sort of an intensity that the other team really can't match. And, you know, that's the kind of attitude that we try to build on our team. I think sometimes we've been able to play that way, and sometimes we haven't. And the more consistent we can be at getting that with our entire team, not just a few individual players, although they set a tremendous example for it, I think the better chance we'll be able to have success, give us a better chance to have success.